What is up, clean freaks and filthy friends alike? Filthy Dan coming at you for the 11th and absolute final week of the Giant Friday the 13th Summer Special. This is a series that, as you guys know, has been brought to you by myself, the boys at Good Real Hunting, Nic Cooling, Chase at Moser Movie Reviews, and Robby at Reviews and Rankings with Robby Sobel. And, of course, these have all been accompanied by the great watch parties over at the House of the Living Dead. This has been an extremely fun, yet absolutely tiring process, but again, it's been a lot of fun bringing you guys these Friday the 13th reviews. The last couple weeks have obviously been a bit of a harder watch to get through, but this week we're going out on a higher note. Before, maybe I should have watched my words when I said final. We do have one more week of this shit. Next week we have the rankings of the Friday the 13th films. That one's going to be a lot of fun, and then it will be absolute smooth sailing through the suburbs as we go into Halloween Wednesday at House of the Living Dead. You guys know all about that. There should be links to that in its entirety down in the description box below. But anyway, let's get into this Friday the 13th. We have the inevitable point in most horror franchises, or even standalone horror films, have come to this point where you have milked the original run for all it can be. In some cases, of course, it's a single film. Other cases, like Friday the 13th, you have a whole franchise. Killing teens in the woods. Let's do it again. Kill some teens in the woods. Do that a few more times. Let's take these teens and put them on a boat. Let's send our killer to hell. Let's send our killer to space. Let's have our killer fight another killer from another series. That's probably due for a re-review here soon. You guys know, of course, I'm talking about Freddy vs. Jason. But it is the inevitable point where it is time to say, you know, what is it that people really like? They like remakes. I guess sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. Let's see how the fuck we feel about Friday the 13th, 2009 Reboot. So, Friday the 13th came out in 2009, was directed by Marcus Nispel, stars Jared Padalecki, Danielle Panabaker, Aaron Yu, Amanda Rigetti, Travis Van Winkle, and Derek Mears as Jason Voorhees. This is the second film to not feature Kane Hodder since he had taken the mantle. Of course, Freddy vs. Jason showed Ken Kersinger replacing him. But this is Derek Mears in Friday the 13th, 2009. So what this film does is really interesting plot-wise. It sort of takes the original formula we get where you take some teens, put them in the woods, but it also incorporates some of Part 4 where you have a brother of a previous camper, and we actually kind of get this with the opening. The opening is a good 20-30 minute segment that is almost a great mini-film, like a great short film. But you have a whole other movie attached to that. That was very exciting to see that. But you have, again, another group of campers going out into the woods. I'm going to be so glad I'm not going to have to say that anymore. But these guys go out there. Most of them get killed off. One is taken prisoner while her brother is out and about looking for her. As there are a new group of teens out in the woods looking to fuck, party, do whatever the fuck it is they do in this franchise anymore. But that's got a nice Part 4 element. Of course, they all encounter Jason Voorhees, who summarily stalks and kills them one by one, before meeting a potentially grisly end at the end of this film. Does he die? We don't know. We'll assume so, because they never sequelized this motherfucker here. But this was right before the whole rights issue and everything. That's a whole other can of worms we're not even going to get into here. I'll let other channels who are a little more in-depth with their legal knowledge and whatnot get into that shit. But let's get into what I like about this film. First of all, the opening sequence I touched on just a little bit. Man, it could have really been like its own short film aside from this film. It gives us a nice, interesting group of kids who are, again, not really the most likable bunch, but they're probably the most likable bunch in this film. That says a lot. It really does, but, you know, it really doesn't say a whole lot. Contradicting myself there, but it's a nice moment. Kind of gets us in the mood, you know, it whets our appetites. It's a great way to start a Friday the 13th film, and if you're watching this for the first time, you're thinking, what the fuck, this shit's moving pretty quickly, man. And it even does give us a nice black and white little bit where Mrs. Voorhees is getting decapitated, very much like in the original film. It's changed a little bit, it's kind of rushed, but what could you do? You need to just establish, get the plot moving, because it's 2009 now. People's attention spans have shortened. So moving on to the other thing I really like. The setting of Crystal Lake in this film is pretty cool. It does seem like a little more lively, realistic in today's sense kind of setting, where you've got this over-the-top cabin out there in the woods where it's like, oh god, what kind of rich fuck owns this place? And of course you got a lake that's absolutely fucking huge. You got an interesting little town that surrounds it. It's a lot of fun there. Jason, played by Derek Mears. Not my favorite Jason. Or is he? What Derek does in this film as Jason is fucking amazing, because he channels a great deal of a lot of the previous guys who have played Jason. He's got that real steady, not steady, like that jokingly stern grasp on this is what you can and can't do in this lake area that Ted White brought. That very I'm in charge here, you know. He's got the stalking sensibilities of Kane Hodder, you know. You kind of get those stares, those glances that are, I mean, I guess every actor who's played Jason has kind of embodied that. But of course he's got the sack for the first half of the film, which is really cool. I really like the way the sack looks in this film. Of course you also got him getting the hockey mask, and I really enjoyed the way he gets the hockey mask from the dude who's all wanting to fuck his mannequin again. That was a lot of fun there. Fucking takes the sack off his face. He's like, that shit ain't right, man. Gets his throat cut. Mask stolen. Good shit there. The kills in this film also are really fucking superb. Might I even say stupendous. So you have some pretty stupendous kills in this film. A lot of them are very, very much what we would expect in a lot of ways, but there are quite a few that I think really broke some ground in terms of the Friday the 13th franchise, kind of elevated it to a different level that we had not seen Jason perform at up until this point. We've got, of course, the classic machete in the forehead, but that's assisted by a bear trap, which is fucking insane. The sleeping bag. I killed it. You guys know I'm not the biggest fan of. You got a chick getting burnt in a sleeping bag. That was a lot of fun. You got Jason throwing an axe, stabbing a dude in the neck with a screwdriver. He's very much a hunter-gatherer type. I don't know, everything. I think all the kills in this are a lot of fun. You got fucking a Silent Night, Deadly Night kind of kill going on where he impales this chick on these fucking antlers. I thought that was very unique until I saw Silent Night, Deadly Night. Still a lot of fun there, though. And the whole greatest hits factor of this film. I think it's really the best way to capture the essence of what the Friday the 13th franchise has been up to this point, and kind of putting that into a remake at the time that this film was being made. Because a lot of people are aware of Jason Voorhees, like just general audience goers, not necessarily horror fans, because we know this motherfucker. He's like our next door neighbor. So you got these people making this film, and it's like, how are we going to get asses in the seats? Let's just kind of do a greatest hits of the first few films, throw that into one, and bam, sell it to the people. It worked for what it is. I kind of like the greatest hits. I don't listen to greatest hits CDs usually, but, you know, this is a movie of greatest hits, redone. It's like a greatest hits re-recorded. So it's like, fuck it, I'll buy it. And you also get like a nice tonal mixture in this film. You've got a rather serious sort of interpretation while also playing in a, well, more playful category. So you sort of get that, a nice tone that's relatively balanced. Again, you got that lighthearted humor that's just that stoner and sex comedy that was real popular in the late 2000s. But you also have that very serious horror edge, which I greatly admire. It's not quite at that Jason Lives level of balancing its tone. It's a little more in the vein of Friday Part 5, New Beginning status with that. And I also like the cinematography by Daniel Pearl, who of course is goddamn legacy points for this film, because Texas Chainsaw Massacre and the remake, and about 1,000 fucking music videos. I don't know if I'm just being biased because of Pearl's legacy points, as it were, but I really like a lot of the shots here, and of course the way they're fucking lit in darkness, mostly dark shots in this. I really like that. It's not that same kind of darkness that we would get in the older films, if that makes sense. Like, this is almost a polished sort of darkness that's not really... doesn't feel like it's a movie set sometimes. It feels like it's a real fucking place. And again, I know that probably doesn't make a lot of sense, but if it makes sense to you guys, thank you for being able to understand my damn babbling. Onto the dislikes for this film. There's not a whole lot, but they're, again, like they usually are, nitpicks rather. The central characters are mostly dog shit. You do have a few that stand out. Of course, Jared Padalecki and Danielle Panabaker really stand out to me as being some of the better characters, but all the friends as a whole, I don't know, man. It's almost as if they were trying to capture the kids from the final chapter and kind of put them into this, but they really come off as more like dollar store versions of the kids from the New Blood. And I don't know, a lot of them just don't come off as likable. They're, again, playing on that stupid fucking cliche factor. You got the stoner, you've got the minority, you've got the slut, you've got the dick. Okay, and then you've got the idiot couple who are kind of killed at the beginning of the group and you forget about them. Not any of these characters really have a whole lot going on. Like, I'd have to say, fucking, out of all the cannon fodder bullshit, you got, I think Aaron and Chewie bring a nice little bit of fun that's not quite the Ted and Jimbo level, but hey, it's close enough. It's like, hey mom, can we have Ted and Jimbo? No, sweetie, we have Ted and Jimbo at home. Lawrence and Chewie are the Ted and Jimbo at home. What can you do, right? And also, while I said that this is really the sort of greatest hits Friday the 13th film, this one doesn't at times really feel like a Friday the 13th film. I mean, it's obvious that that's what it is. I mean, it's in the name. You got the Jason Voorhees character. He's got the hockey mask. But despite doing a lot right in that department, it feels like it really could just be another run-of-the-mill horror film. Not necessarily Friday the 13th. And I don't know if it has something to do with the way that Jason kills a little out of his familiarity zone, I guess we'll call it. I don't know. There's just some things about it that just don't feel like they are the same. Of course, I think changing his MO to where he does capture and take hostages, a single hostage. And she does stand out as a character too, I might add. Whitney. I don't know. It just does enough different to where it sort of separates itself from the franchise and doesn't feel like it's part of the franchise. And I also gotta say that it does feel like it could be taken as a remake or as almost a sort of loosely connected sequel to, I'd say about, I don't know, we'd probably have to stop at part 2. Like, if you take the original Friday from 1980, Friday the 13th part 2 from 81, and just kind of stop the films there, this one kind of feels like it could be following up with that sort of timeline. But at the same time, it's fucking very much its own little ditty. But it doesn't say that it's not. But it's a remake. We all know it. It's fun to think about that, I guess. Anyway, let's fucking move on to the filthy features. As always, we start with the favorite kill. And in this one, I'm easily going with the burning sleeping bag kill because that shit is fucking insane. And you do have the other kill going on right in tandem with it, with the chick's boyfriend getting his fucking leg caught in the goddamn bear trap and the machete put in his forehead. But the girl in the sleeping bag, man, she's getting fucking toasted alive in there. Jason fucking ties that shit to a tree, has her hanging over a fire, and I don't know, it's just absolutely brutal because you see her fucking burning alive in there. It's kind of melts through the sleeping bag. She's all smoking hot, and she was pretty smoking hot too. So smoking hot is as smoking hot does, I guess, right? Moving on to the Smutty SightINGS. Jesus fucking Christ, there's quite a lot in here. Of course, we got some tent fucking. We've got topless jet skiing, videotaped stupendous fucking, a lot of fake tits in just about every scene where there are tits out. And you have implied mannequin fucking. I don't want to get into all this because I just want to get this son of a bitch done. Anyway, let's move on to the Friday the 13th exclusive features. This is the last run of those. This one has been a lot of fun doing, but you guys know the one that I really love. It's the TGIF pinup girl. Am I going to go for any of these dumb sluts who are getting fucked in this film? No. I'm not picking any of them as the TGIF pinup girl because I have standards, damn it. Jenna, played by Danielle Panabaker. Now, I may be biased here because as a kid, when I wasn't watching horror movies, I would see Danielle Panabaker on the damn Disney Channel. And I had quite a thing for her. When I see her in this, it really was like, whoa. Because I was starting to get to that point, that age where it's like, you know, my taste is maturing. I'm not watching this young kid shit anymore. You know, I'm above that. Fucking 14 thinking that I'm a grown-ass man, whatever, you know. But seeing Danielle Panabaker in this was really cool. And, you know, having had a crush on her previously, there's a lot of bias there. And when she gets killed in this film, I was absolutely surprised because she was still coming pretty hot off of her Disney Channel stardom. And it's like they're not going to do it. They can't kill Danielle Panabaker. And when they did, what the fuck? You know, that was my thought process. And I was heartbroken, devastated, fucked up. But yeah, Danielle Panabaker as Jenna, because she tries her damnedest to be faithful to that cuntbag Trent. But Trent was a fucking cuntbag. I don't even want to talk about that relationship because Trent was so goddamn wrong for her. Fucking around with Bree, who I gotta admit, Bree was probably going to be the runner-up. But there was something classy about Jenna. Anyway, let's go on to the Crystal Lake memory. You guys know what this is. My first encounter with this film. So yeah, I saw this one really around the time it came out. I missed the theatrical run, but as soon as that fucker became available to rent, we got it. We rented that shit, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. I remember really, really liking it, but that was before I really thought about what is a good movie, what is a bad movie. Like, before I really started putting real thought into it. And I just remember everybody was fucking talking about it. It was the first time I was able to really see and experience and enjoy a Friday the 13th film as it had come out. Where a lot of the other ones I find through people telling me about them, coming across them in video stores. Freddy vs. Jason just being the goddamn crossover that it was. And to date, this has been the last real Friday the 13th film. Not to take anything away from the excellent fan films, which I plan to talk about at some point before we officially put this Friday the 13th series to bed. We'll see. I might have to do that after the fact. But yeah, it's been the last Friday the 13th film that we were able to really get our tits jacked for. If this lawsuit does come to an end, man, hopefully we can have another Friday the 13th out. Enjoy it in the theatrical run. Come on, give it to me, baby. Overall, man, I thought that this one was a fairly solid entry. It clocks in as a decent Friday the 13th film, but I find that it's mostly a suitable starter film. Like, if somebody's brand new to the franchise, they have no real recognition of who's Jason Voorhees, what's Friday the 13th. This is a good film to start people off with. If you think that they don't need a whole lot of coaxing, you could give them Final Chapter. But if they need something that's a little more streamlined or whatever, fucking put this one in their face. This film, again, it's a great way to start. It doesn't stand out really great against the original run of Friday films, like the first 5, first 6 even. It doesn't really separate itself too much from those, but it's really just okay among that group. But really, as a horror film and modern slasher film, it really does do pretty damn well. It's totally worth checking out, and it's a lot more Friday the 13th than the last few entries we've got, being Jason Goes to Hell, Jason X, and Freddy vs. Jason. This fucker does a lot more right than those movies do, man. I'm fucking telling you that right now, and I think we all know that. And I'm the guy who likes Jason Goes to Hell. That review's still coming out soon, guys. Don't fucking hate me for it. I still need to get that one pushed out. If you're watching this after having seen my Jason Goes to Hell review, then ignore all that. Anyway, this has been the Friday the 13th review series. Am I glad that we're out of the woods? You bet your fucking tits I'm glad we're out of the woods. Am I going to miss my memories of summer camp with the friends? Yes. Yes, I will. But will I be thinking too much about it while I'm running from Michael Myers in the suburbs at the House of the Living Dead? Maybe not. But you guys know what to do. You got to be sure to go check out the other reviews and the watch party. Of course, these have all probably been out by the time I got this done, because I have fallen ill to franchise fatigue at this point, and for that I do apologize. You guys know which ones to check out. Their links will be below. You've got Good Real Hunting, Nic Cooling, Robby at Reviews and Rankings with Robby Sobel, Chase at Moser Movie Reviews, and of course House of the Living Dead. Be sure to check all those out. As always, thank you all for watching. Please be sure to like and share this video, and if you have not already, please stab the fuck out of that subscribe button. And if you're feeling extra filthy, go ahead and leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think of this. Do you guys prefer this to the original run of films? Do you prefer this to the original film? Do you absolutely fucking hate this film? Is it stupendous? Is it perfectly placed in the franchise? Let me know all those thoughts and more down below, guys. And be sure to check out these social media links here. We've got the Facebook page, Instagram, Twitter, Letterboxd, Patreon, and the Stream Demons fan page over on Facebook. Go and give all those a look, and in the meantime, stay filthy.